everyone. I am Dr. Priyanka Maria. Continuing the series of Peace Economics, I am here once again. And now I'm taking part 2 of Unit 3. Since I'm from academic fraternity, so like other academicians, I thought of working on part 2, where the opinions of believers of peace and propounders of peace thought would be considered. In part 1, the work was on spiritual side and the religions, their god, goddesses and their holy books and scriptures were considered. Still, my focus has been on peace, peace and peace. I'm only and only talking about peace only. So, though this unit, I want to explain the concept of peace is not new. Just want to say that this is not new, as it has been widely discussed from past many years. It is quite evident from the viewpoints of propounders of peace throughout that have given strength and consolidated the concept of peace economics. Now, I am starting my discussion again by referring to the ancient Mesopotamia. You might be remembering I referred to the ancient Mesopotamia earlier also in one of my modules, wherein I told you about worship goddess Easter, who used to have a dove which used to signify peace, fertility and productivity. Now, the writings of another renowned Chinese philosopher and religious leader, Mo Zhu, he took up the more radical perspective. He argued against war. He said that the war should not be there, and he favored all-embracing love, universal human virtue, and the highest earthly goal. Yet, one that is, Mo Zhu said, those who love others will also be loved in return. Do good to others, and others will also do good to you. Hate people and be hated by them. Hurt them, and they will hurt you. So, what is hard about that? Means he wanted to disseminate a message, the ripples of peace should be percolated. Now, when we talk about India, in India, Buddhist monarch Ashoka, he was known for abandoning his successful military campaigns in the middle of his career, and he devoted himself to the religious conversations by non-violent means. Now, again, moving ahead, not only talking about the Ashoka, now I'm moving ahead, and I want to discuss about the quotes of Swami Vivekananda. What he said that be at peace, do not disturb yourself. You're under no bondage, and you were never virtuous, or you never committed any sort of sin. So he also moved ahead and he said that the blessed are the peacemakers. Why they are so blessed? Because they shall enjoy the earth. Why? Because they are the peacemakers. Harmony and peace. We should only talk about believing in peace. We should only believe about the harmony. Now, moving ahead, I want to point out towards Mahatma Gandhi. He was a strong believer of truth and peace. According to him, peace and non-violence, they were two major pillars of any peace process that upholds the human race. Peace must be the fruit of any non-violent action and or protest to settle down a dispute. Only it should be resolved at, only peace and harmony should be restored. He also said, in order to attain peace, we have to educate people. So, there was an establishment of correlationship between peace and education here. Now, pointing out towards Atal Bihari Vajpayee. At the time of Kargil war, it was asserted by him that I don't want war of any kind. I just don't want it. I want peaceful means to be there, but yes, in case the peaceful means are ineffective, only then I will go for war. In the words of Albert Einstein, what he said, he also said that peace is not only the absence of war, but the presence of justice, law, and order in the society. He was a strong believer of enforcement of peace via enforcement of law and justice. Pointing towards Martin Luther King, He said that the true peace is not merely the absence of tension, but the presence of justice. He was on the similar lines. Now, talking about the 14th Dalai Lama, he said that the peace refers to the spheres where human rights are respected, people are fed, no one is hungry, everyone is fed, there is no starvation, there is no hunger, and individuals and nations are free. There is no foundation as such. Nelson Mandela, who actually did massive work in South Africa, he also said something in this regard. He said that it is easy to break down and destroy. The heroes are those who make peace and build. He also said that peace is not just the absence of conflict. Peace is the creation of an environment where all can flourish regardless of race, color, creed, religion, gender, class, and caste, or any other social markers of difference. Religion, ethnicity, language, social and cultural practices are elements which enrich human civilization. Now, moving ahead, he also said that why should there be allowed to cause division and violence by allowing that to happen? We should not believe in non-violence. Now, moving ahead with the further believers of peace thought, we again discuss that the opinions that were discussed by Nelson Mandela, that were discussed by various people. Now, to conclude, I want to say that to achieve a peaceful treaty, it's not simple. As far as global peace is concerned, there are challenges which are on different fronts, natural and human made. Thus, for achieving peace, we have to believe in the following. Number one, a positive understanding of give and take and its importance for trade should happen, because we know that only via give and take the trade can happen. So we have to understand its importance. Next, the importance of humanity, forgiveness, and non-violence must be properly understood, as there is a dire need of the hour to do that. A correct blend of these components will give a better direction to the world and give it a proper path. With this, I really want to thank all of you for your kind cooperation and consideration. Thank you.